pleasant Monday afternoon to all of you weekend warriors. Yours truly, Denise Osorio here for PTV News Now. Starting off our stories this afternoon. It was a horrible and foul setup on innocent and unwitting commuters or flying out of the NAIA when it first surfaced in 2015 under the administration of then-President Noynoy Aquino, which left airport travelers in horror and dread for its persistence despite exhaustive and repeated probes. Now, tanim, bala, or bullets planted or smuggled in one's luggage is making an encore in the NAIA, much to the chagrin of those flying the friendly skies and to the ire of the president who ordered an immediate probe earlier today. This time, the victim was a 69-year-old lady who shared her harrowing experience at NAIA's Terminal 3 Thursday last week in social media, after nearly missing her flight for Vietnam. The president wants a quick end to this nightmare visited on travelers at the NAIA that leaves the country's reputation with yet another black mark internationally. 3 airport screening officers have been terminated off their services for their alleged links to the incident, DOTR Secretary Vince Dizon said. After halting the delivery of supplies of food, medicine, and other essentials into Gaza last week, the Netanyahu government has ordered pulling the plug on power flowing into the besieged and battered Palestinian enclave, leaving the already suffered Palestinians totally in the dark at night. This latest arm twisting by Israel is to step up the pressure on Hamas to accept a deal that would release half of the remaining hostages in Hamas captivity, in return for a promise to extend talks to negotiate a lasting truce. Phase 1 of the ceasefire deal that lasted 42 days paved the way for the release of 25 living and 8 dead Israeli hostages and the liberation of 1,900 Palestinians held in Israeli jails. With the lapse of Phase 1 of the truce on the 1st of March, Israel is under intense pressure to follow up on Phase 2 of the ceasefire pact, among whose provisions call for half of the remaining hostages in captivity to be released in exchange for a permanent cessation into armed conflict with withdrawal of Israel from Gaza. Meanwhile, President Donald Trump has sent an emissary to negotiate directly with Hamas in Qatar for the release of American hostages still being held by Hamas. Formal talks to bring to an end Russia's war on Ukraine are set this week in Saudi Arabia, this time with Ukraine having a seat at the table. Aboard Air Force One earlier today, President Donald J. Trump, in an ad hoc face-off with a gaggle of White House reporters, sent mixed signals on the prospects of the impending talks, as VOA's Veronica Balderas Iglesias reports.
U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio traveled Sunday to Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, to hold talks with a Ukrainian delegation. The aim, according to an official statement, is to, quote, advance President Donald Trump's goal to end the Russia-Ukraine war. The visit comes days after Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky sent President Trump a conciliatory letter in the aftermath of a contentious meeting the leaders had at the White House on February 28. Trump commented Friday on the status of the peace negotiations.
I think we're doing very well with Russia, but right now they're bombing the hell out of Ukraine, and I'm finding it more difficult, frankly, to deal with Ukraine. And they don't have the cards.
As a form of pressure to get the parties to the negotiating table, Trump has paused military aid to Ukraine and intelligence sharing with Kyiv, while threatening to impose sanctions and tariffs on Russia. Securing a deal is important for Trump politically, analysts note.
He has bet, essentially, his presidency that some sort of deal will be obtained. And I don't know, there's so many moving players during these negotiations, whether it's Russia, Ukraine, the EU.
Stand with Ukraine. In the lead up to the U.S.-Ukrainian talks in Jeddah, which are expected to last until March 12, supporters of Ukraine rallied Saturday in Washington, while Ukrainian officials denounced a series of Russian attacks over the weekend against Ukrainian targets in Donetsk, among other regions. Veronica Balderas Iglesias, VOA News, Washington.
So that's a wrap for this afternoon's stories. Join us anew later on for the evening set of breaking stories at the hour. And always make it a habit of staying connected by catching the news right here. Denise Osorio here bidding you all an interim goodbye and thank you for watching PTV News Now.